Everyone, welcome to the appetizer presentation of the day, because after that you're going to get lunch. So today I'm going to tell you about how AI is changing the way we build and deliver software. So tell you a bit about myself, some insight from a survey we did on the matter, share some takeaways, and maybe some recommendations. So I'm one of the founders of Grow Ventures. We started like 8 years ago, managing a bit over $500 million, investing in many companies. And we have this affinity to software infrastructure, DevOps, DevTools. We like a lot to invest like in monitoring and infrastructure as code and data platforms, etc. And then we realized we like to geek out, and we dive very, very deep. We have our council of advisors. We have like an event we're organizing every year, and we have researches we're doing. And this year, I did a research about how AI impacting software development, and I'm going to share with you today the results from that survey. So let's start with a question, and don't answer me yet. Do you guys predict that AI going to replace completely coding? Don't, yeah, okay, so I asked not to answer, but okay, that's okay, you're hungry. So, as you can see, many companies are today already built code assistant tools that's meeting developers in their ADE. And these companies have raised $2.6 billion, out of them $1.5 billion in the last 6 months. Very, very fast, it became quite an advanced part. Like Gartner already have a magic quadrant for that. And what we asked ourselves, is that all? Is that all that AI can do in a development lifecycle? Yeah, so we went and talked with like 50 organizations that represent tens of thousands of employees and engineers, and asked them what they see today in the market and try to envision how it looks like in the future. So first, let's talk about what's happening today. So we asked them, where do we see AI currently in the whole SDLC? So 92% of the organizations already started to use code generation tools, code assistant tools in the way they're building code. Of course, you would see some in testing, but what was one of the most interesting parts for us is that only 20-ish% of the companies have some sort of AI involved in the way they manage their infrastructure, their DevOps, and we don't think it makes sense. We also asked these companies, do you really have money? Do you have budgets to try to adopt all these AI solutions? And we see that all companies have budget, and budget scales as the company grow up. We believe that the bigger companies understand that they must change the way they work, and they're willing to spend more money on it. Then we ask people, okay, so you're using now AI. What are you using less? On behalf of what is coming in, and very interestingly, in search and education tools, people are using much less, spend less time on these kind of things. What it means is it means that probably we change the way we onboard new employees, we manage our teams, the way that what it means to be an engineer, what it means to be an SRE is just different, okay? Because their life is a bit different. We ask people, okay, so what are the barriers? Why you're not adopting more of Gen AI? And the biggest one is about the code quality that's generated by Gen AI. And but what we believe is that the models are actually advancing very, very fast. Their quality is phenomenal. We've never seen any kind of innovation moving forward that fast. We assume that this barrier is going to go down. But then we're going to be left with all these guys over here. We're going to be left with compliance. We're going to be left with security and cost. We believe that these are going to be the challenges of the next 1 to 3 years. Going to be solved either by new companies going to pop up in the conference here next year, or by interesting processes that are going to be developed by all of you guys. Interestingly enough, when we asked about processes, and we asked people, okay, so now you have AI, and in many cases, AI changes everything for some practitioners, so did you change your process? And the answer is no. Only 16% of the organization changed the way they work, changed the way they do things, And again, this thing doesn't make any sense. We believe that this number is going to change dramatically in the next year. In 2023, when we asked people how many of them actually tried to use or using code generation tools, was 56%. It jumped in a year to 92%. We believe in the process we're going to see the same jump until next year. What are missing? Like, what are the guardrails people wanted to have as part of their Gen AI tooling? Privacy, security, again, observability. People want to be connected to the existing tool chain and stack they have today. So these are, I think, the things that we all going to deal with in the coming years, how to get these new capabilities and to connect it to what we have today. Now, 2 data points about the future. So we asked people, so who's going to be impacted? So AI probably going to change everything for some people and not a lot for other people. And I think the immediate thought people have is regarding software developers. But as you can see, it's probably going to be impact the most, maybe with software managers, but also about DevOps people, technical operations, and even product managers. So I think I would say no one is safe if I want to spook you guys because like part of the theme of today, but maybe to intrigue you guys, everything going to be different. So we all have to lean in a bit. Last question I'm going to share with you today that we asked is, what do you think models need to know or to understand in order to have more impact on the organizations? So I think that the very important number is like 34% of the people believe that if models going to be trained on logs, traces, metrics, or going to have more inputs from like the history of the root cause analysis for different production problems we had, they're just going to have bigger impact on the organizations, and we don't see enough companies and solutions doing that. Another interesting point that was interesting for me, that people believe that the future AI for the engineering and DevOps going to have some customer and user insights to support their operation. Now, let's just finish with like 5 takeaways. One, Gen AI, of course, changing everything, but we don't think it's going to stop in the code generation. We believe DevOps is the next frontier. Companies already have budgets, already have the right buying personas. They're ready to buy these kind of solutions. Yes, there is some guardrail, need to improve quality, privacy, governance, but this is happening in our life. I mean, these like 1 to 3 years. And the way that we build and deliver software going to be changed dramatically. So, and maybe one last thing that maybe recommendations that I might try to be not pretentious but suggesting to you guys. One, I would recommend you to be early adopters. We believe that we all have the opportunity to be the ones who defined our industry. Define your own craft, because if you're going to be one of the early vocal people, you're going to define how this technology is going to be implemented in your future life. Of course, we all need to balance risk and reward and then define your ROI, make sure you have the right thing with the right appetite of your organization. We believe that the KPIs, your targets, not going to be different, but the way to achieve them going to be completely different. Think about it for a second. So you need to build the right processes in order to help this great technology or buzzword to help you to achieve your goals. Now I'd recommend you to stay competitive, lean in. It is the biggest platform shift probably of the last 20 years. You want to stay relevant? Be there. Don't wait. And maybe the last but not least, collaborate. I really encourage you to try and to share with your community your learnings, your findings, and let's have it all together as a learning practice. And now back to the question. Maybe I convinced some people. So if you can raise your hand, who predict that AI can replace coding in like 2 to 3 years? Okay, not a lot of people, but so CEO of AWS just said that he believes that it's going to happen in 2 to 3 years. Just a few weeks ago, and I think yesterday the CEO of Google already told us that 25% of their code in last quarter has been written by AI. I personally believe that it's not going to change everything for everyone, but it's going to change a lot for everyone. If you want to read more about our report, feel free to scan our this QR code or get to our website. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Enjoy your lunch. And if you're building in this area, if you want to just tell me I'm wrong or to share more of your feedback and try to hear more from our insights, please reach out. We like to talk. Thank you very much.